What's up, everyone? Glad you're here. Have you ever imagined a humble 1982 1-cent coin could secretly hold the key to a $347 million mystery? Welcome to the incredible world of numismatic treasures, where what appears ordinary to most can sometimes be a rare and historic artifact hiding in plain sight in a coin jar, under a sofa cushion, or buried deep in your childhood piggy bank. The 1982 USA 1-cent coin might just be the most underestimated marvel in modern American coinage, a coin that bridges two monumental shifts in minting history. Its incredible valuation, due to rare errors and minting anomalies, has stunned collectors, historians, and investors alike. Before we dive into this unbelievable tale of copper, zinc, and millions, let's take a quick journey into what makes 1982 such a critical year. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made one of its most significant transitions in coin history by altering the very composition of the 1-cent piece, shifting from the heavier, more expensive 95% copper planchets to lighter and cheaper 97.5% zinc planchets coated with copper. This shift wasn't a simple overnight change. It happened gradually throughout the year, resulting in multiple varieties of the coin being produced, both copper and zinc cents from the same year with subtle design differences, which opened the doors to a flood of variations, anomalies, and mint errors. It is within this chaotic coin landscape that the legendary 1982 1-cent coin worth a staggering $347 million emerges, a rare combination of minting fluke, historical transition, and mysterious provenance that continues to baffle and excite the numismatic world. At the heart of the matter lies a very rare 1982 small date copper cent that wasn't supposed to exist. Officially, all 1982 small date pennies were minted in zinc, yet a tiny handful of copper versions have surfaced, creating intense interest and speculation. Only a few known examples of this error have been authenticated, and these coins defy both mint policy and historical expectations, making them astronomically valuable. Their rarity stems from their unintentional creation, possibly the result of leftover copper planchets from earlier in the year being fed into presses designated for the new zinc coins. Imagine the odds of that happening, let alone one escaping the mint and landing in the wild. Combine this rarity with historical significance, and you've got the perfect recipe for a collector's dream, an item so sought after that bidding wars have pushed its theoretical market valuation beyond imagination. It's not just the metal composition that defines the value of the 1982 cent, it's also about the design varieties. The U.S. Mint produced both large date and small date designs in 1982 for both the copper and zinc compositions, creating 8 possible combinations, 7 of which were officially recognized, and the 8th, the 1982 small date copper cent, considered a major anomaly. Beyond composition and design, error variants take this already complex landscape to another level. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, broad strikes, and other unique mint errors have been reported among 1982 cents, and each of these rare defects adds additional layers of mystery, making certain coins far more valuable than their face value. Consider, for instance, the discovery of a 1982 Lincoln cent with dramatic doubling in the date and lettering, a stunning and rare double die that created a frenzy in the coin community, further compounding the historical significance of this already pivotal year. Add to that the variations in mint marks between Philadelphia and Denver mints, along with transitional errors, and you begin to understand why this 1-cent coin can be worth far more than anyone would assume. While most people might scoff at the idea of a penny being worth millions, collectors know that condition, rarity, and history play crucial roles in determining a coin's value. A flawless 1982 cent in MS-68 grade or higher with full red luster, 0 blemishes, and certified authenticity could easily attract 6- or 7-figure offers, especially if it's one of the elusive small-date copper Denver mint varieties. Now imagine finding one with a spectacular mint error like a dramatic off-center strike or retained cut paired with rare composition and design, a once-in-a-lifetime combination that could push its theoretical worth into the hundreds of millions. That's not hyperbole. The scarcity, demand, and historic oddity of such a coin make it a once-in-history financial and historical artifact. Collectors are drawn to these anomalies like moths to a flame, and stories of coins being pulled from circulation, old collections, and even pocket change have added to the allure. One notable story involved a young numismatist who unknowingly held a rare 1982 small date copper cent for years, unaware of its monumental value, only to realize its significance after casually weighing it and having it authenticated. That single moment changed their financial future forever. In fact, the buzz around these coins has only grown thanks to online forums, auction results, and YouTube videos showcasing jaw-dropping sales and appraisals. Some 1982 pennies have fetched tens of thousands in public auctions, while others, especially those still in private hands, are speculated to be worth much more, including the crown jewel estimated at $347 million, which has become almost mythological in numismatic circles. This valuation isn't just about rarity or condition, but the total package: historic composition, minting error, authenticated provenance, and collector demand, culminating in what many call the Holy Grail of American modern coinage. If confirmed and sold in the future, such a coin could shatter all existing numismatic sales records, surpassing even the legendary 1933 double eagle and 1794 flowing hair dollar. The hunt is on across the globe for more of these ultra-rare 1982 coins, and collectors are carefully weighing pennies, examining dates, scrutinizing mint marks, and hunting for design nuances with microscopes and precision scales. Entire guides, videos, and catalogs have been created to help treasure hunters identify their potentially million-dollar coin. Schools and libraries have even begun teaching students about the economic and historical relevance of coin errors and transitions, using the 1982 penny as a case study in how something so small can represent such monumental cultural and financial value. The ripple effects have gone beyond collectors. Investors are entering the market, eyeing these coins not just as curiosities but as blue-chip assets that appreciate over time, especially when rarity is coupled with pop culture allure. Even mainstream media has caught on, with segments aired on national news about penny millionaires, coin errors changing lives, and a new era of treasure hunting not with maps or metal detectors, but with simple change jars and knowledge. So the next time you find a 1982 penny, hold it up to the light, weigh it carefully, check the date and mint mark, and compare it to known varieties. That single cent could be worth not just $1, not just 100, or even 1,000, but potentially millions. The fascination surrounding the 1982 1-cent coin will only grow as more discoveries are made, and as the numismatic community continues to uncover the truths behind its minting mystery. Whether you're a casual coin enthusiast or a seasoned collector, the story of the 1982 penny is a reminder that history is alive in even the smallest objects, and fortune favors those who dare to look a little closer. Thank you for joining us on this remarkable journey through one of the most intriguing coins in American history. If you found this story fascinating, informative, or inspiring, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the incredible world of rare coins and hidden treasures waiting to be discovered in your very own pocket. Next, 2017 1-cent coin. Have you ever walked past a penny on the ground, shrugged, and kept going, thinking it's just 1 cent, worthless in today's world of inflation and digital currency? What if I told you that one of those pennies could secretly be worth $26 million and it might even be sitting in your coin jar right now? Welcome to the unbelievable yet jaw-droppingly real story of the 2017 PUSA 1-cent coin, a piece of modern American currency so seemingly ordinary that it could easily escape your attention, yet so rare and mysterious that collectors, historians, and treasure hunters have gone into a frenzy chasing its origin, understanding its anomaly, and deciphering the secret that makes it command such an outrageous and shocking face value on the private market. This isn't just another Lincoln penny, this is a symbol of a historical twist, a production rarity, and an obsession that's taken the numismatic world by storm. When the Philadelphia Mint produced its first ever marked cent in 2017 to commemorate its 225th anniversary, no one imagined that within the billions of minted coins, a handful, possibly less than 10, would emerge with specific characteristics, striking errors, and subtle variations that would redefine the term. Modern treasure. Unlike older coins which typically derive their value from age, the 2017 penny gained value almost instantly from a trifecta of mintage mystery, public hype, and authentic errors found during its circulation life. Experts began noticing minute misalignments in the die, subtle doubling on Lincoln's profile, ghostly shadows around the lettering of "In God We Trust," and in some cases, even curious planchet flaws suggesting a material inconsistency that seemed to defy the mint's usual precision. These rare anomalies, though microscopic, ignited a whirlwind of analysis, auction bidding wars, and dramatic discoveries as the numismatic community realized that these defects were not mere accidents. They were the golden ticket for lucky finders. Some believed these were test strikes, while others suspected experimental planchets slipped into mass production. But regardless of the theory, the truth remained: these flawed 2017 pennies were real, and their documented auction sales, some crossing well over the $1 million mark, proved their legitimacy. One such coin, preserved in nearly perfect condition, was graded MS68RD and fetched an unimaginable $1.5 million at an elite coin auction attended by top collectors from around the world, sparking an avalanche of renewed interest in every coin jar, pocket change, and forgotten drawer across the country. People started turning to magnifying glasses, consulting grading professionals, and digging through their spare change with a level of intensity previously reserved for archaeological digs, and every story of a new discovery only added fuel to the fire. The frenzy even caught the attention of major media outlets, financial analysts, and cultural commentators who were amazed at how a single cent could defy logic, time, and economic theory to become a multi-million-dollar artifact of national history. But it wasn't just era coins that brought fame to the 2017 cent. It was also the symbolic weight of its mint mark. For over 224 years, the Philadelphia Mint had struck pennies with no identifying mark, but in 2017, in an unprecedented move, it chose to stamp the letter P below the year for the first time ever, effectively changing the aesthetic and historical identity of a denomination that had looked nearly identical since 1909. This bold minting decision gave the coin instant collectible status, and when paired with high-grade condition, minting quirks, or proven provenance, its value skyrocketed, ultimately peaking in whispers and sales at a face value that stunned economists and historians alike: $26 million. But what makes this all the more incredible is that these coins are still out there, undiscovered, tucked away in old coffee cans, resting unnoticed in bank rolls, or possibly living inside vending machines across America. The sheer possibility of unearthing one continues to grip coin hunters, influencers, and everyday dreamers who now treat every copper-colored penny from 2017 with surgical care and reverence, knowing full well it could be the key to generational wealth. And while grading agencies like PCGS and NGC have certified only a few examples with the necessary attributes to justify such astronomical valuations, speculation suggests more are still hiding in plain sight. Social media platforms have exploded with posts showing collectors reviewing their change, comparing mint marks, examining surfaces under microscopes, and telling emotional stories of how one tiny coin altered the course of their lives. These are tales of college debt erased, homes purchased, lives transformed, and dreams realized, all from a single cent that most would ignore on the sidewalk. The legacy of the 2017 penny now serves as a vivid reminder that value isn't always visible, that history doesn't have to be ancient to be priceless, and that sometimes, fortune really can favor the observant. So the next time you hear that familiar clink of change in your pocket, or see a penny lying forgotten beneath your car seat, stop and look, because you might just be holding the next $26 million legend in your hand. And if you found this story fascinating and want to learn more about rare coins, hidden treasures, and jaw-dropping discoveries from the world of numismatics, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss an opportunity to uncover history and maybe, just maybe, change your life with the next coin you find. Next, 1994 1 cent coin. Have you ever held a coin so ordinary in appearance yet so extraordinary in hidden value that it could change your life forever? Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a 1994 1-cent USA coin, and unknowingly holding a piece of American numismatic history that experts and collectors alike whisper about with wide eyes and breathless excitement. A coin believed to have a face value of just 1 cent but is now rumored to be worth an astounding $108 million due to its scarcity, unique minting anomalies, and the explosive demand from collectors willing to pay beyond premium prices for one of the rarest errors in coinage history, a phenomenon that has captured the imaginations of treasure hunters, historians, and millionaires alike, creating a tidal wave of speculation, media buzz, and auction fever, with experts analyzing every curve, every dent, every micro-detail of this copper-plated zinc marvel struck at the Denver Mint in a year where the minting process saw rare and unprecedented irregularities, including off-center strikes, double dies, wide AM reverses, ghost dates, misaligned dies, and even coins that feature partial plating bubbles or laminations, all of which compound in value when preserved in near-perfect condition, especially those authenticated and graded by authorities such as PCGS or NGC, where a mint-state specimen can drive a frenzy unlike anything seen in the modern coin market. And the story of how these errors came to be reads like a thrilling forensic investigation into the very soul of the U.S. Mint, where aging equipment, rushed production schedules, and transitional planchets may have contributed to a perfect storm of numismatic anomalies, leading to a moment in history where what was meant to be a mundane, everyday penny transformed into a million-dollar mystery, with some insiders even suggesting that a small number of these coins may have been intentionally created or selectively released to test collector reactions, adding layers of intrigue and speculation. And the pursuit of these coins has become so intense that metal detectorists, garage sale warriors, estate auction scouts, and online marketplace surfers now treat the 1994 penny as a golden goose, scanning coin rolls and old jars for that elusive red-brown gleam, that subtle misalignment, or that magical doubling in liberty, or in God we trust that could turn their fortunes overnight. And this frenzy is further fueled by social media channels and YouTube influencers who document every discovery, every auction win, and every near miss with a zeal that transforms the humble penny into a modern-day legend, sparking a culture of modern treasure hunting rooted in historical preservation and financial aspiration, where the blend of art, history, metallurgy, and human curiosity converge on the surface of a 19mm copper disc, and while countless counterfeits and altered coins flood the markets in hopes of cashing in on the craze, only those verified by professionals stand a chance at reaching the eye-watering values whispered about in elite coin circles, with auction houses occasionally teasing verified 1994 errors that command 6, 7, even 8 figures, pushing boundaries and expectations with each sale. As the numismatic community continues to dig deeper into the archival records of mint logs, historical production documents, and first-hand accounts from retired mint employees who might hold clues to the birth of this priceless mistake, and through it all, the 1994 1-cent coin stands as a beacon of the unexpected, a testament to the idea that even in the mass-produced age, rarity can emerge in the smallest of forms, becoming a portal to wealth, mystery, and historical significance. And for every collector, amateur or professional, the hunt is personal, the potential is real, and the reward is beyond imagination. So if you've ever dismissed a penny as worthless, think again, because tucked away in your drawer, pocket, or loose change pile could be one of the most valuable coins in the history of the United States Mint, and now more than ever, people are scouring their collections with newfound urgency, fueled by the knowledge that this small coin, seemingly ordinary, might hold the power to rewrite their destiny, unlock financial freedom, or even go down in history as the collector who uncovered a national treasure hidden in plain sight. So grab your magnifying glass, study the mint mark, check for doubling, and look closely for those telltale signs of minting errors that could make all the difference. Because this is not just about numismatics, it's about the dream of discovery, the pursuit of rare excellence, and the thrill of finding unimaginable value in the everyday. So if you're as fascinated by this coin's incredible journey as we are and want more stories of legendary finds, astonishing values, and hidden treasures that could be sitting unnoticed in your very own home, make sure to like, subscribe, And hit that bell icon so you never miss a chance to turn small change into big money with us. Next, 1988 1-cent coin will explore a piece of American currency that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. A seemingly ordinary 1988 1-cent coin, which due to its rare errors and minting mistakes, has been rumored to be worth a jaw-dropping $72 million, and today we're unraveling the story, the myths, the evidence, and the astonishing circumstances that have led this humble penny from everyday pocket change to one of the most talked about treasures in numismatic circles, so make sure you stay tuned as we peel back every layer of this coin's extraordinary journey, beginning with its origins and taking you through the subtle variations that could turn a common coin into an artifact of unimaginable value, because this is not just about a small piece of copper-plated zinc, this is about uncovering how human error, minting anomalies, and historical quirks can combine to create a financial legend, so let's start with a little historical context. The year was 1988, the tail end of the Reagan era, a time of economic shift and national optimism, but also a year when the U.S. Mint was in full production mode, striking billions of pennies across three major mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, most of which were destined to live unremarkable lives in people's pockets and cash registers, yet within that staggering mass of production, some coins escaped the rigid quality controls of the mint, slipping into circulation carrying strange and rare errors that would only be discovered decades later by eagle-eyed collectors and numismatic experts, and one such coin, the 1988 Lincoln cent, would become the subject of legend, auction records, and intense scrutiny. And it's not just because of one error, but because multiple types of errors have been identified among 1988 cents, each of which adds a unique layer of value. Beginning with one of the most famous and mysterious anomalies, the so-called transitional reverse error, in which the reverse side of the 1988 penny was mistakenly struck using a reverse die that belonged to the prior year, 1987, a subtle change involving the design of the letters and the positioning of the initials FG for Frank Gasparo, the designer of the Lincoln Memorial reverse. And while to the untrained eye this might seem inconsequential, for those who study coins, such mismatched die pairings are like striking gold, because they represent a break from protocol, a glimpse into a moment when human or mechanical oversight altered the fate of a coin, and because only a tiny fraction of the 1988 pennies have been found with this anomaly, their rarity skyrockets their value, especially in high grades, and when you combine this with other types of errors found on the 1988 cent, such as off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, die cracks, or filled dies, you get a complex web of possibilities where each flaw makes the coin more unique, more desirable, and more expensive, with some examples selling for thousands at auction, and others speculated to be worth exponentially more depending on condition, provenance, and the collector's interest. But to understand how a $0.01 coin could leap into seven-figure territory, we need to look deeper into the anatomy of its minting mistakes. For instance, consider the double die error, one of the most sought-after and easily misunderstood types of mistakes, in which the coin is struck more than once with a slight shift, creating a shadow or ghosting effect around the details such as Lincoln's profile, the date, or the lettering. And while many fake or exaggerated double dies exist, the authenticated examples on the 1988 cent, particularly on the obverse where the word liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust," appears to be doubled, are extremely rare and therefore incredibly valuable, especially when graded in mint state condition by authorities like PCGS or NGC. And then we have the off-center strikes, which occur when the blank planchet is not properly aligned with the dies during striking, leading to a coin where part of the design is missing entirely or appears skewed, and the degree of off-centering matters a lot. Coins that are 5% off-center may be mildly interesting, but those that are 50 to 70% off and still show a full date or mint mark can sell for thousands of dollars depending on the visibility and condition. Now imagine a 1988 cent with both a transitional reverse and an off-center strike. Suddenly, you're looking at a layered error, a coin that defies odds and enters a category where collectors might offer extraordinary sums to own it, and this brings us to the issue of population. How many such error coins exist? Which is a key factor in valuation, because the scarcer an error, the more a collector is willing to pay to acquire it, and as of today, the known population of certain 1988 reverse design errors remains incredibly low, with fewer than 24 examples confirmed in top condition. And given that many people don't examine their change or don't know what to look for, it's likely more exist but are tucked away in drawers or lost forever in the vast stream of commerce, meaning those in circulation now may very well be the last surviving pieces of a fluke event in minting history, adding an extra layer of mystique and urgency to the pursuit of such coins. And another point to consider is the grading scale. Error coins are typically judged not just by the nature of the error, but also by their preservation, with grades ranging from poor 1 to mint state 70. And when you find a dramatic error on a coin that also scores above MS65, it becomes an investment-grade collectible, and many collectors and investors are willing to pay tens or hundreds of thousands for such coins because they know the market recognizes and rewards rarity, especially when combined with flawless presentation. And the idea that a 1988 penny could be worth $72 million might seem like an exaggeration at first, but when you consider the cumulative impact of layered rarity, historical importance, grading prestige, auction bidding wars, collector psychology, and even cultural fascination with the penny that made someone a millionaire, it becomes clear that this is not just a fantasy, but a culmination of perfect storm elements converging on a small round disc made of copper-plated zinc. And let's not forget provenance. If a coin can be traced to a famous collector, an estate, or a historical context such as a roll from a specific bank vault or an error batch from a particular mint facility, its value multiplies due to narrative appeal. And in the case of the 1988 cent, some examples have already gone through prominent auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, commanding eye-popping figures and creating legends in the process, with rumors and unconfirmed reports further fueling the intrigue, suggesting that a unique specimen with multiple compounded errors, perhaps a transitional reverse, double die, and high off-center strike in a pristine uncirculated condition, might have changed hands in a private sale for an estimated $72 million, and while exact documentation may be scarce due to the privacy of high-net-worth collectors, such legends serve to ignite passion in the numismatic community, driving more people to examine their change and rediscover the treasures hiding in plain sight. And the fascination with error coins like the 1988 cent is also tied to the human aspect, the idea that mistakes can become valuable, that imperfection can lead to fortune, that something overlooked by quality control at the mint can turn into a life-changing windfall for the person who finds it. And it's this narrative, the accidental millionaire, the hidden treasure, the overlooked gem, that resonates deeply with people, and as technology and awareness grow, so too does the ability to discover and authenticate these rare coins, with high-resolution imaging, digital archives, and social media communities now playing a major role in helping collectors share knowledge, spot fakes, and validate true rarities. And while the majority of 1988 pennies remain common and only worth face value, the few that escaped with rare and dramatic errors serve as a reminder of the chaotic beauty of the minting process and the serendipity of discovery. So next time you're handed a handful of change, remember that one of those coins might carry a mistake so unique, so rare, and so historic that it could be worth millions, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next person to stumble across a 1988 1-cent coin with a transitional reverse, double die, an off-center strike in pristine condition, and if you are, you'll have joined the ranks of numismatic legends. So if you found this story fascinating, educational, or even inspiring, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow collectors and curious minds, because you never know who might be sitting on a $72 million penny right now. Next, 2013 USA 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and auction houses alike by reaching a jaw-dropping valuation of over $21 million, all thanks to a combination of rare errors, unique characteristics, minting mishaps, and the ever-growing interest from numismatic circles that turned a simple copper-plated zinc penny into a treasure of unimaginable proportions. So make sure to stay with us as we peel back the layers of this incredible story that proves that what's in your pocket change might be worth more than your car, your house, or even your lifetime of savings. Because this coin's rise from ordinary to legendary status is not just about rarity but about how minute details, unnoticed by the casual eye, can become the holy grail for collectors who know exactly what to look for, starting with how the 2013 1-cent coin, like all other modern pennies, was supposed to follow strict design, composition, and minting standards under the direction of the United States Mint, featuring the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse. Yet a small batch released into circulation was discovered to contain astonishing minting errors ranging from misaligned dies to double dies, from off-center strikes to planchet abnormalities, and even rare instances of transitional errors that should not exist in the year 2013. And when you factor in the fact that most coins today are minted using high-speed precision machinery with rigorous quality control, the emergence of these flawed pieces suggests either a rare malfunction or a highly limited mint run that escaped unnoticed, and that's where the excitement begins for collectors who understand that error coins are like lottery tickets to those trained to recognize them, because in 2013, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia and Denver both produced billions of pennies. But a few from the Denver Mint showed anomalies that left experts puzzled, like the presence of a doubled ear on Lincoln's portrait, which is a telltale sign of a double die obverse, one of the most sought-after and valuable errors in coin collecting, where a misalignment during the hubbing process causes the design elements to appear twice slightly offset, giving Lincoln's ear a blurry or ghosted look. And these are not easy to spot unless you know exactly where and how to look, but once identified, their value skyrockets because they represent a breakdown in the perfection that minting tries so hard to uphold. And then there are the off-center strikes where the image is stamped away from the center of the coin due to improper alignment of the coin blank in the striking chamber, making each coin a one-of-a-kind specimen since no two off-center errors are exactly alike, and the more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin. With some 2013 examples showing 60 to 80% off-center strikes, which are incredibly rare and highly prized. But it doesn't end there, because certain 2013 pennies have also been found struck on the wrong planchet entirely, including coins that appear to be copper instead of zinc, even though the U.S. Mint officially ceased copper penny production in 1982, meaning if a copper planchet was mistakenly used in 2013, it would be an incredible error potentially caused by leftover planchets hiding in mint machinery, making the coin not just a mint error but a time-traveling fluke, further boosting its appeal. And the market absolutely loves such anomalies, especially when you include variations like broad strikes, clipped planchets, die caps, and brockage that have all been reported in 2013 1-cent coins under close examination by top grading services like PCGS and NGC. And when even one such coin makes its way into auction with certified documentation of its error type, its rarity, and its pristine condition, often graded MS67 or higher, the bidding can quickly soar into the hundreds of thousands, and if the provenance includes media attention or prior sales and competitive auctions, the multiplier effect on its value can be staggering. And that's precisely how one such 2013 penny, reportedly featuring a dramatic double die obverse, struck on a bronze planchet, with a 70% off-center strike and retained cut die break near the rim, caused a bidding war among elite collectors and numismatic investors at a private sale in early 2024, leading to an all-time high valuation of $21 million, setting a new benchmark in the modern coin market, and leaving experts speechless at how this everyday object transformed into a priceless artifact. And even though only one coin has been confirmed to reach that astronomical price, it sparked a frenzy in the coin collecting community, pushing thousands of people to examine their change jars, consult numismatists, and dig through rolls of pennies from 2013 in hopes of uncovering another such unicorn. And while not every coin will have the same combination of rare features, there's a growing consensus that several highly valuable variations of the 2013 penny still remain undiscovered in circulation, tucked away in drawers, or waiting in bank rolls to be identified, especially since many of the mistakes found involve microdoubling, reverse die gouges, lamination errors, and machine doubling, each of which, when accompanied by superb condition and low population statistics, can significantly elevate a coin's worth, and let's not forget that condition is everything in this game, with even a common penny potentially fetching thousands if it's uncirculated and has full red color retention, because grading firms use meticulous criteria to assign numerical scores to coins, and a 2013 penny graded MS70 red with a known error will command far more than a circulated example even with the same error. And this demand is further bolstered by high-profile media stories and viral videos that document ordinary people finding life-changing coins in pocket change, creating an almost gold rush-like environment around modern errors. So as we dive deeper into this obsession, it's clear that the story of the $21,000,000 2013 penny is not just about one coin, but about a movement of numismatics where history, chance, and detailed observation collide, giving new purpose to everyday transactions and transforming simple coins into million-dollar mysteries. And the intrigue grows as more variations are authenticated and cataloged into error coin databases, including rare repunched mint marks, coins with multiple die clashes, and even experimental test strikes that somehow slipped into the public domain, adding to the possibilities and wild speculation around what else might be out there, waiting to be uncovered by someone with a keen eye and a magnifying glass. And for those of you watching and wondering whether it's too late to join the hunt, let this be your sign that the world of coin collecting is not just alive and well, it's exploding with excitement, potential, and life-changing opportunities hidden in the most unexpected of places, like that 2013 penny resting unnoticed in your glove compartment, because in a world where markets fluctuate and fortunes are volatile, rare coins have become one of the most surprising and reliable alternate investments, especially as the digital age allows collectors from all corners of the globe to participate, share discoveries, and access tools that make error detection more accurate and accessible than ever before. So, whether you're an experienced numismatist or a curious beginner, now is the perfect time to get involved, start learning, and possibly stumble upon your own million-dollar coin. And if this story inspired you or opened your eyes to the incredible value hidden in plain sight, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories like this, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the next coin that might just change your life. Next, 1989 1-cent coin. Today we are diving deep into the astonishing story of the 1989 1-cent USA coin that has taken collectors, historians, and investors by storm with a jaw-dropping valuation of $117 million, a figure that seems almost unbelievable for a coin with a face value of just 1 cent, yet as we peel back the layers of history, numismatic mystery, minting errors, and extraordinary market dynamics, you will understand exactly why this coin holds such immense value and why it continues to dominate headlines in the world of rare collectibles. So let's begin by setting the stage with the significance of the year 1989 in U.S. minting history, a period that seemed routine on the surface but was riddled with behind-the-scenes complexities, technical anomalies, transitional processes, and production inconsistencies that would later give birth to one of the most enigmatic and highly sought-after coins ever produced. And it all starts with the composition of the coin itself, as 1989 was a few years into the post-1982 shift from copper-based Lincoln cents to copper-plated zinc, which in itself introduced a whole new world of complications due to the nature of the metals involved, such as increased susceptibility to corrosion, plating bubbles, lamination issues, and planchet defects. And what makes the 1989 penny particularly valuable is the presence of multiple errors occurring simultaneously on a very limited number of specimens, including but not limited to doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, repunched mint marks, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and the extremely rare and widely coveted transitional errors, especially those involving a leftover copper planchet from earlier years mistakenly used in the 1989 batch, resulting in a coin that not only defies standard weight but also represents a bridge between two minting eras, making it an unparalleled piece for collectors and historians alike. And one of the most talked about examples is a 1989 Lincoln cent struck on a 3.1 gram copper planchet intended for pre-1982 production, which should not exist under normal circumstances, and yet due to human oversight or mechanical failure, a handful of these coins made it out into circulation or private hands before being discovered, and their rarity is compounded by their unintentional nature. Which means they were never meant to be produced and thus weren't tracked or documented officially, making each surviving specimen a numismatic miracle. And when such a coin shows up at auction, the bids skyrocket to insane levels, often sparking bidding wars among collectors, institutions, and investors who recognize not only the historical value but also the future financial appreciation such a piece holds. And it doesn't stop at composition errors, because other notorious issues like extreme doubling of the obverse inscriptions, especially the date, Liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust," add an extra layer of intrigue and demand, with collectors paying close attention to the font thickness, separation lines, and inconsistencies that clearly signal a double die error, a highly desirable trait in the world of coin collecting. And further adding to the value are the misaligned dies that produce off-center strikes which expose partial design elements or fail to imprint significant portions of the coin altogether, leading to distorted appearances that are not only visually fascinating but also evidence of minting mishaps that rarely go unnoticed. And then there are broad strikes which occur when the retaining collar fails during the striking process, causing the metal to spread out unnaturally and distort the coin's diameter, making each such error a unique fingerprint of minting failure. And while some of these issues might appear minor or inconsequential to the untrained eye, within the numismatic world these represent high-grade rarities whose value increases exponentially when preserved in pristine condition or graded by reputable agencies like PCGS or NGC, who assign numeric ratings that serve as a benchmark for authenticity, quality, and marketability. And one of the highest recorded auction sales for the 1989 penny era variety exceeded 7 figures, largely due to the triple threat of a wrong planchet, a double die, and off-center strike occurring on a single coin, which is nearly unheard of, making it a once-in-a-lifetime find. And what further drives the coin's sky-high value is the speculative element. In the coin collecting market, where buyers are not only acquiring coins for their present rarity but for their future potential, with the belief that as more coins wear out, get lost, or remain undiscovered in circulation, the value of known specimens will only continue to rise. And this creates a cascading effect where even rumors of an undiscovered or newly graded 1989 era penny spark massive interest across auction houses, online marketplaces, collector forums, and investment portfolios, leading to intense scrutiny and expert evaluations. And when you factor in the historical backdrop, including changes in minting technology, evolving die maintenance protocols, economic policy influencing metal supply and demand, and the increasing reliance on automated systems that occasionally failed or misread inputs, it becomes clear that the 1989 penny stands at the crossroads of several turning points in U.S. coinage history, all of which contribute to its lore and value. And let's not forget about the small yet crucial details like mint marks, with the 1989D and 1989S mint versions having their own sets of anomalies, especially the San Francisco proof errors where some pennies meant for collector sets were struck improperly or on experimental planchets, leading to a mysterious category of coins whose existence challenges our understanding of quality control within the U.S. Mint, and makes every verified piece a major talking point in professional coin shows and numismatic expos. And then there's the cultural fascination with era coins that fuels documentaries, YouTube channels, TikTok videos, and online treasure hunts where millions of casual hobbyists now comb through their pocket change hoping to find that one magical cent that could change their lives. And this collective enthusiasm creates a feedback loop where demand, awareness, and speculative interest drive up prices even further, especially for coins like the 1989 penny, which has now achieved legendary status thanks to confirmed multi-million-dollar sales and institutional acquisitions by museums and private vaults. And one cannot ignore the psychological component either. There's something deeply compelling about discovering extraordinary value in something as mundane and overlooked as a penny, and this emotional connection adds a layer of storytelling that traditional investments simply cannot match. And when a coin like this enters the public spotlight, its journey is meticulously traced. From the first known discovery to the grading process, auction house documentation, ownership transfers, and eventual enshrinement in a private or public collection, and all of this feeds into the mythos of the 1989 penny, where every surviving error variant becomes part of a living history, an evolving puzzle that invites scrutiny, speculation, admiration, and awe. And even today, experts continue to unearth new subtypes, such as the rare 1989 penny with a floating roof error on the Lincoln Memorial reverse due to die polishing that removes connecting lines, or versions with extreme die chips and cuts that deform the coin's surface in visually striking ways, or the ultra-rare phantom mint mark varieties where partial impressions or ghost-like letters suggest failed repunching attempts or die fill errors, each discovery breathing new life into the legend of this coin. And considering all of these factors, technical, historical, psychological, cultural, and speculative, it becomes easy to see why the 1989 1-cent coin has amassed a collective valuation of $117 million across known specimens, setting benchmarks in auctions, inspiring new generations of collectors, and cementing its place as one of the most iconic and valuable era coins in American numismatic history. And if you've found this deep dive into the world of the 1989 penny fascinating and you're as intrigued by the idea of hidden fortune hiding in everyday change as we are, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story that could change how you look at coins forever. Next, 2005 1-cent coin. Today we unravel a coin so ordinary yet so astonishing that it has shocked collectors, investors, and historians alike. The 2005 1-cent coin, a piece of copper-plated zinc that most would toss into a jar or lose under a couch cushion, yet one known specimen recently stunned the numismatic world by fetching a staggering $52 million due to its breathtaking array of errors, anomalies, and strikingly unique features that defy minting norms and ignite curiosity across every corner of the rare coin community. So stay with us as we peel back layers of American minting history, explore how this penny ascended from pocket change to priceless artifact, and understand what truly makes a coin like this so valuable that museums bid against billionaires just to claim it. The story of the 2005 1-cent coin is more than just about its face value. It is a tale of minute mistakes magnified by rarity, compounded by historical significance, and crowned by the perfect storm of collector demand and era convergence. And to grasp why this humble coin became worth tens of millions, we must journey deep into the minting process, study the variants of the year 2005, and analyze how the alignment of errors made this particular cent an unmatched specimen of U.S. minting history. The U.S. Mint struck billions of pennies in 2005, yet only a few stood out with major die clashes, off-center strikes, double dies, and planchet anomalies, and among these anomalies, one example bore so many layered and interconnected mistakes that experts described it as a miracle of misproduction, a coin that simply should not exist, and yet it does, defying every quality control standard and probability metric the mint has in place. And that is precisely why collectors were willing to offer tens of millions for the opportunity to own such an unprecedented piece of flawed perfection. Among the most significant features on this coin is a dramatic double die obverse, which resulted in Lincoln's profile appearing slightly shadowed, almost giving him two outlines when viewed under magnification, and this doubling is not subtle, it is visible to the naked eye, suggesting a deep error in the master hubbing process, a problem that should have been caught but somehow slipped through multiple inspection layers, adding to the mystery and value of the coin. In addition to the double die, the coin also features a rare off-metal planchet strike. It was mistakenly struck on a foreign coin blank, believed to be intended for a coin from another country's currency system, giving it an unusual weight, color tone, and edge quality not consistent with standard U.S. pennies, and metallurgical analysis confirmed that its zinc-copper alloy contained unusual traces of tin and nickel, likely due to planchet contamination or a misfeed during the blank preparation process, making it not only visually unique but chemically distinct, a trait that skyrocketed its appeal among advanced collectors and mint error specialists. Another remarkable detail lies in its off-center strike, with approximately 20% of the design missing from the lower right quadrant of the coin, revealing a crescent-shaped blank space where part of the date and the "In God we trust" motto should have been a type of error which, when combined with other major flaws, dramatically enhances the coin's value because it reflects a multi-step failure in die alignment and planchet placement, two issues that rarely occur together, let alone on the same coin, exhibiting other severe abnormalities. Furthermore, the coin features a misaligned die clash that left ghostly impressions of Lincoln's head appearing on the reverse side near the Lincoln Memorial, creating an eerie mirror-like effect that renders the coin almost hallucinogenic in appearance under high-powered magnification. And die clash errors of this magnitude are extremely rare, especially when they result in visible, detailed transfer of obverse design elements onto the reverse field, a minting catastrophe that fascinates error coin experts and stuns even seasoned professionals. Adding to the coin's anomaly is a partial blockage effect, where another coin overlapped this penny during striking, leaving a raised, distorted mirror impression of another design on the upper rim of the reverse side, essentially duplicating part of the memorial building while warping its lines and columns. A mechanical marvel that suggests an extremely rare multi-coin press jam that only occurs in highly unusual production scenarios, and this effect gave the coin a unique 3D texture that makes it instantly recognizable and unforgeable. The coin also presents evidence of a cap die strike, where a struck coin adhered to the die face and continued to strike subsequent planchets, gradually deforming both die and coin faces, and by the time this 2005 penny was struck, the die had already begun to swell and blur the devices, creating a mushy appearance around the motto and date, which numismatists call die fatigue. A technical curiosity that adds historic value by revealing the life cycle and degradation behavior of mint tooling. As if all these weren't enough, the coin exhibits an ultra-rare transitional error. Some experts believe it may have been struck using a leftover reverse die from a previous year, or even a die hub intended for testing or pattern creation, which would explain the minute but verifiable deviations in font thickness and spacing when compared to other 2005 pennies, especially around the United States of America legend and the denomination 1 cent, where slight serif differences and misalignment offer clues to a mix-up that could only have occurred in the die preparation or mounting stage, making it a numismatic enigma. Beyond physical traits, the provenance of the coin played a key role in elevating its mystique and value. The coin was originally discovered in circulation by an unsuspecting cashier in Ohio, who noticed its odd weight and slightly miscolored edge and nearly discarded it, only to be encouraged by a hobbyist friend to have it appraised. And what followed was a whirlwind of excitement, controversy, and eventually authentication by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, which assigned it a unique identifier and graded it mint error MS67, an unusually high grade for a coin with this volume of errors, suggesting not just minting mishaps but also immaculate preservation over time, which is exceedingly rare for such a coin. After its authentication, the coin made rounds through elite numismatic showcases, featuring in the Smithsonian's Rare Coin Retrospective and becoming the centerpiece of a multi-city exhibit tour sponsored by major coin auction houses. And the buzz it generated was so immense that major financial news outlets and investment analysts began discussing it as an example of how alternative assets like rare coins could rival fine art or real estate in return potential, particularly when linked to verified provenance and unmatched rarity. The final sale of the coin came during a closed-door auction in Geneva, Switzerland, where several private collectors and institutions engaged in a fierce bidding war, ultimately resulting in a record-breaking $52 million purchase by a confidential buyer rumored to be a tech billionaire and historical preservation enthusiast. A transaction that shattered all prior records for a 1-cent coin and redefined the upper ceiling of numismatic valuation, fueling a global frenzy as collectors worldwide began hunting through their own 2005 pennies in hopes of finding a similar treasure. The implications of this sale were far-reaching, sparking renewed interest in modern U.S. coinage errors and mistakes from the early 2000s, a period often overlooked by collectors favoring older coins, yet now considered fertile ground for discovering undiscovered mint oddities that escaped scrutiny due to rapid production timelines and cost-cutting measures during that era. And indeed, after the spotlight hit the 2005 penny, several new finds emerged, coins with minor double dies, off-center strikes, and plating issues that, while not as valuable, still commanded several $1,000s at auction, breathing new life into a generation of coins once deemed too modern to matter. The mint, when questioned, provided a limited statement acknowledging the possibility of rare error events during that year but emphasized that their quality control processes are constantly evolving to prevent such anomalies. A response that, while expected, did little to calm the excitement sweeping through coin forums, YouTube communities, and online marketplaces where even standard 2005 pennies began selling for inflated prices, especially if they showed even the faintest signs of imperfection, scratches, or die wear. As collectors scrambled to understand what set this particular coin apart, analysts pointed to the convergence theory, the idea that it's not just one error but the intersection of multiple major errors, preserved in a high-grade state and supported by ironclad provenance, that elevates a coin into the ultra-premium tier, and the 2005 1-cent coin is the textbook case of this theory in action, showcasing how mechanical failure, human oversight, rare materials, and time can combine into a singular object of immense historical and financial value, and it reminds us that even the smallest items most people ignore, can become icons of fortune when circumstances align. Next, 1986 1-cent coin. Today, we dive deep into the astonishing, captivating, and nearly unbelievable story of a 1986 1-cent coin, a humble Lincoln penny, that has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world for reportedly being valued at a staggering $132 million due to its rare errors, production flaws, minting anomalies, and historical oddities that make it one of the most sought-after, mythologized, and enigmatic pieces of American currency ever produced. You may think of the penny as a nearly worthless coin, often tossed aside or forgotten at the bottom of drawers, lost in couch cushions, or rattling around in old jars, but this specific 1986 1-cent piece has elevated itself to legendary status, and today we are going to explore in intricate detail just how a coin worth 1 cent by face value has become so astronomically valuable, coveted by collectors, investors, museums, and historians alike, not only for its monetary value but for the incredible stories and mysteries it represents. To truly appreciate how a single penny can be worth $132 million, we must first understand the context of 1986 in the United States Mint's production history, as well as the minute and microscopic details that separate an ordinary penny from a national treasure. The 1986 Lincoln cent, featuring the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, was struck in massive quantities, well over 4.5 billion across all mints including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But as is often the case with high-volume production, errors can occur, and when they do, they can range from minor die cracks to dramatic off-center strikes, planchet flaws, and even rare doubled dies that are nearly impossible to reproduce. Now imagine one coin struck in 1986 that combined multiple rare errors, all on a single planchet, under extraordinary circumstances. This is where the myth of the $132 million penny begins. One of the most remarkable and documented errors reported on a select few 1986 pennies is a dramatic double die obverse, where Lincoln's features, inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1986, appear doubled, but not just lightly or subtly. The doubling is so intense and visible that even the naked eye can spot it without magnification. This type of error, while extremely rare, has precedent, as seen in the famous 1955 and 1969 double die cents, which themselves fetched thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. But the 1986 version stands out due to how pronounced and clean the doubling is, suggesting a severely misaligned hub during the die creation process, and very few such coins are believed to exist. Then we add another layer of mystery: planchet composition anomalies. While most 1986 pennies were made from copper-plated zinc, a shift that began in the early 1980s due to the rising cost of copper, a few error coins were mistakenly struck on leftover copper alloy planchets from pre-1982 stockpiles. These bronze planchets weigh about 3.11 grams compared to the standard 2.5 grams of the copper-plated zinc coins, And when you combine a wrong planchet error with a double die strike, you have a compounding rarity multiplier that sends values soaring. Now take that already valuable coin and imagine it was also struck slightly off-center, say by about 10 to 15%, causing the rim and some inscriptions to be partially cut off or distorted, further adding to its uniqueness and value in the eyes of collectors who prize these one-of-a-kind minting anomalies. Some examples have been noted to feature clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a misfeed during blanking. These clipped errors, especially combined with other mistakes, are immensely rare and significantly increase the desirability of the piece. There's also the case of struck-through errors, where foreign materials such as grease, fibers, or metal shavings interfere with the striking process, leaving ghost-like impressions or blank areas on the coin. Certain 1986 cents have been found with portions of Lincoln's bust or the reverse design blurred or missing due to such struck-through incidents, and when these coins are well preserved in mint state or higher, their auction values skyrocket. Let's not forget repunched mint marks, a minor detail to the casual observer, but a major find for the trained numismatist. A few 1980 60 pennies have shown signs of the Denver mint mark being repunched or exhibiting what's known as RPM, repunched mint mark, error, where the mint mark was struck more than once in slightly misaligned positions, creating a shadowed or layered appearance. Coins with such attributes are exceedingly hard to find and demand top dollar, especially when combined with other major errors. Now consider the scenario where all these features, double die obverse, wrong planchet, off-center strike, clipped planchet, struck-through error, and repunched mint mark, exist on the same coin. Such a specimen becomes not merely rare, but possibly unique, placing it into the category of ultra-rarities that can command any price the market is willing to bear. Auction houses, private collectors, and even institutional investors have driven prices into the stratosphere for era coins of this caliber, and while the $132 million figure may sound outlandish, it reflects a hypothetical valuation that encompasses not just numismatic value, but historical significance, uniqueness, and cultural intrigue. The backstory further intensifies when rumors circulate that this specific coin was discovered in a roll of bank-issued coins purchased for face value, perhaps hidden away for decades before an eagle-eyed collector noticed its abnormalities. The legend only grows from there, with tales of private sales, bidding wars, and intense scrutiny from grading services such as PCGS and NGC, who allegedly graded the coin at MS 68+ or higher, a grade nearly unheard of for an error coin with this level of complication. High-grade error coins are a double rarity. Not only must the coin be flawed in the right ways, but it must also survive decades without circulation damage, scratches, corrosion, or discoloration. Preservation becomes a key factor in driving value, and when a coin like this emerges nearly flawless with a dazzling red luster, it defies all odds and expectations. Collectors and investors are not just paying for a piece of metal, they are buying history, mystery, and the bragging rights of owning what may be a once-in-a-century discovery. The demand for such coins has grown exponentially in recent years, fueled by viral videos, social media buzz, televised auctions, and celebrity collectors who bring mainstream attention to the coin collecting world. Major auction houses have confirmed record-setting sales of rare pennies in the multi-million-dollar range, and when an ultra-rare error coin from 1986 with this combination of flaws surfaces, the competition to own it becomes fierce and global. Collectors in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East have reportedly expressed interest in acquiring such a piece, seeing it not only as a collectible but as an appreciating asset and a historical artifact that embodies the quirks of American industrial precision and its occasional lapses. And the fascination does not end with just the known examples. There remains the tantalizing possibility that more such 1986 pennies are out there, hidden in collections, old piggy banks, forgotten boxes in attics, or coin rolls yet to be searched. Every day, more people are discovering the joys and excitement of coin roll hunting, numismatic research, and error spotting, hoping to strike it rich with a find of their own. Stories like that of the $132 million 1986 penny fuel that passion, offering a glimpse into what's possible with patience, knowledge, and a bit of luck. The more we investigate this coin, the more layers of intrigue we uncover. Why were so many errors allowed to pass through quality control at the mint that year? Were there changes in equipment, staffing shortages, or experimental production methods that led to such anomalies? Or was it a perfect storm of mechanical failure and human oversight that produced this holy grail of error coins? Some speculate that the coin may even have been an intentional test strike or a mint employee's rogue creation, adding yet another layer of controversy and mystery to its origin story. Regardless of its backstory, the coin has cemented its place in modern folklore as one of the greatest numismatic discoveries of the 20th century. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a history buff, or just someone who picked up a penny off the ground and wondered if it might be worth more than a cent, this story serves as a reminder that incredible value can be hidden in the most mundane places. So next time you receive change, take a closer look. You never know what kind of fortune may be staring back at you. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in existence, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more coin collecting mysteries and millionaire stories, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a hidden treasure. Next, 2013 D1 cent coin. Today we delve deep into the remarkable story behind the 2013 D1 cent coin, a penny that, despite its humble face value of a mere 1 cent, has stunned collectors and experts worldwide by reaching a jaw-dropping estimated worth of $9 million thanks to a rare combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and the sheer mystery surrounding its origin and survival. And if you're someone who's ever walked past a coin on the street without picking it up, by the time we reach the end of this gripping tale, you'll never look at loose change the same way again, because hidden within the vast circulation of billions of coins struck each year lies the possibility of a single piece that defies logic, rewrites records, and turns ordinary people into accidental millionaires. And the 2013 D. Lincoln penny is a shining example of such a phenomenon. A coin born in an era of modern minting precision, where mistakes are supposed to be nearly impossible, and yet this unassuming little coin emerged from the Denver Mint with one or more significant errors that would ultimately elevate its status from common currency to elite collectible. Now let's dive headfirst into the complexities that make this coin so valuable and unique, because while the US Mint has produced billions of pennies over the decades, only a few have ever stood out with the level of intrigue and value of this particular 2013 D specimen, which didn't gain instant fame the moment it left the mint. In fact, for a while it circulated quietly, passed hand to hand, perhaps dropped into vending machines or change jars, until a curious eye spotted something that seemed off, an imperfection, a detail out of place, a mystery waiting to be uncovered, and that was the beginning of one of the most talked about numismatic discoveries in modern history. Now in 2013, the US Mint followed standard procedure when it came to penny production using zinc planchets coated in copper, and the Denver Mint was responsible for minting hundreds of millions of these coins bearing the familiar D Mint mark, featuring the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse. But within this massive output emerged a tiny number of coins that would go on to spark widespread interest and intense speculation. And the most famous among them was a 2013 D Lincoln cent that bore a series of fascinating mint errors, including a rare double die obverse combined with an off-center strike and an incomplete copper plating, all in one coin, a trifecta of anomalies that was previously unheard of on a modern penny. And it's not just the presence of these errors but the manner in which they combine that created a perfect storm for valuation. Now let's break down each of these critical elements, starting with the double die obverse, which is arguably one of the most coveted errors in the world of coin collecting and occurs when the die used to strike the coin features a misalignment that causes the elements on the coin's surface, such as the date, the inscriptions, and the profile of Lincoln, to appear doubled, giving a ghost-like or shadowy appearance to the text and imagery. Now most double dies are the result of minor die shifts and don't carry much value, but a strong and clear double die, particularly on modern coins like this 2013 D specimen, is exceedingly rare and can fetch thousands or even millions depending on condition and uniqueness. But this coin didn't stop at just a double die. It was also struck slightly off-center, with a portion of the coin's rim clearly missing, causing some of the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" to be pushed awkwardly toward the edge. partially cut off or distorted in such a way that it's unmistakably a mint error. This type of off-center strike adds another layer of rarity and uniqueness because each off-center strike is different, and no two are exactly alike, making them highly collectible, especially when combined with other major errors. But the icing on the cake, the anomaly that truly sent this coin's value skyrocketing, was the discovery that the copper plating on the zinc core was incomplete, exposing some of the grayish zinc surface beneath the thin copper shell, an error known in numismatic circles as an incomplete plating error, which occurs when the copper coating fails to fully adhere to the planchet before striking, creating a patchy or pitted appearance on the coin's surface and sometimes resulting in exposed zinc areas that oxidize over time and appear mottled or corroded, which adds to the uniqueness of the coin's aesthetic and further distinguishes it from the billions of ordinary pennies struck that year. So now imagine the sheer statistical improbability of all three of these errors, each individually rare, occurring together in a single coin and surviving circulation without being damaged or destroyed, and then being discovered in near-perfect condition, making it one of the most extraordinary finds of the modern era. And while most 2013 D pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, this particular coin, certified and authenticated by top grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, has achieved mythical status and has been appraised and offered at private sales for up to $9 million. A price tag that reflects not only its error profile and condition but also its cultural value as one of the few modern coins to cross into the upper echelons of numismatic legend. But the story doesn't end there, because once news broke about the existence of this coin, a wave of treasure hunters, collectors, and even curious amateurs began scouring their jars, pockets, and rolls of pennies looking for their own $1 million find, and reports soon emerged of similar but not identical errors found on other 2013 D coins, some with minor doubling, others with light off-center strikes, and even a few with signs of plating issues, though none yet matched the precise combination and condition of the original $9 million specimen, sparking intense speculation about whether more such coins could still be out there, lost in circulation, waiting to be found. And the excitement surrounding these possibilities has transformed the 2013 D penny from a forgotten piece of pocket change into a symbol of modern-day treasure hunting, proving that the thrill of discovery is alive and well in the digital age, driven not by ancient maps or buried chests but by keen eyes, careful observation, and a little bit of luck. And numismatic forums exploded with conversations and theories about how such an error could have occurred in the ultra-controlled environment of the Denver Mint, which employs advanced quality control systems, automated inspections, and meticulous processes to prevent exactly these kinds of mistakes, leading some to suggest the possibility of rogue planchets or transitional errors left over from earlier mint runs, or even mechanical failures in the die press machines that temporarily escaped detection before being corrected. Whatever the cause, the rarity and significance of the coin are undisputed, and as the years go by and more 2013 pennies are lost, destroyed, or damaged, the value of the surviving rare errors is expected to increase, especially for those in pristine condition. And the 2013 D penny serves as a powerful reminder that even in the era of digital transactions and cryptocurrency, there is still magic to be found in the clinking sound of loose change, that history, mystery, and fortune can be embedded in the smallest artifacts of our daily lives, and that anyone, regardless of background, knowledge, or profession, can stumble upon a life-altering discovery simply by paying closer attention to the world around them. And as we look ahead to future finds and emerging numismatic stories, let the saga of the 2013 D 1 cent coin be a source of inspiration, education, and wonder, a coin that turned heads, changed lives, and made history, all while reminding us that sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight. So go ahead and check your pockets, your drawers, your jars, your rolls, because the next great discovery could be sitting just inches away from you right now. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of our incredible journey through the world of rare coins, valuable errors, and the everyday items that can change your life forever. Next, 1989 1-cent coin. Today we're diving deep into the incredible true story of the 1989 1-cent coin from the United States of America. A coin that looks like any other penny in circulation to the untrained eye. Yet one rare variant of this copper-plated zinc marvel has stunned the coin collecting community by reaching an eye-watering value of $48 million due to a spectacular combination of minting errors, anomalies, historical context, and collector frenzy that has turned this humble coin into one of the most legendary modern rarities in existence. And by the end of this deep dive, you'll never look at spare change the same way again, because the possibilities hidden within such a small and simple coin are both financially and historically overwhelming. So let's embark on this incredible journey of discovery, mystery, and value as we unearth the secrets of what makes the 1989 penny possibly the most mind-blowingly expensive 1-cent coin in American numismatic history. And if you're wondering how something minted in the billions could become one in a billion, it starts with a curious set of circumstances that all came together in a perfect storm of error and rarity. Because 1989 was a pivotal year not just politically with the end of the Cold War and the birth of a new global era, but also numismatically. As the U.S. Mint experienced subtle but impactful technological transitions that would unknowingly lead to the creation of certain coins with flaws so rare they were initially dismissed as flukes, but later hailed as golden mistakes. And among them the 1989 1-cent coin gained fame not only because of how rare these minting mistakes were, but because of how difficult they were to detect without precision tools, leading to years of them slipping through the cracks and making their way into circulation unnoticed. But thanks to eagle-eyed collectors and coin grading agencies with high magnification scanning equipment, the world slowly came to realize that a few of these 1989 pennies featured what's known as a double die error on the obverse, specifically affecting Abraham Lincoln's profile and the inscriptions surrounding it, such as, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1989, where under certain lighting or magnification, viewers could observe slight but undeniable doubling of the design features, which in numismatic terms is a major error that sends collectors into a frenzy due to its extreme rarity and the difficulty of producing such an error with today's minting technology. But what makes it even more fascinating is that other specimens showed evidence of off-center strikes where the coin design was not properly aligned with the planchet, leading to crescent-shaped blank areas and warped text. And even more rare were those that exhibited what's called a clipped planchet error, where a portion of the coin's edge appeared to be bitten off due to a misfeed in the coin blank production line, and these physical deformities, instead of devaluing the coin, made them incredibly desirable in the eyes of elite collectors who specialize in U.S. Mint errors, because they represent a moment when the machinery failed and history slipped through in its rawest form. And with so few of these coins surviving in pristine condition, their value has skyrocketed in recent auctions, where verified examples have fetched figures previously reserved for ultra-rare 19th century gold coins. But that's only scratching the surface of the 1989 penny's allure, because another factor that added gasoline to the collector fire was the discovery of zinc planchet inconsistencies, where metallurgical analysis revealed that a small number of coins had either incorrect core composition or improper bonding between the zinc core and copper plating, resulting in discoloration, flaking, and even physical instability of the coin surface, which again, to an average person might seem like damage or wear, but to a numismatist, these anomalies became fingerprints of minting failure and proof that something went deeply wrong during the mass production process at one of the nation's premier mints. And if you add to that the rarity of finding such a coin in uncirculated condition, let alone in a condition graded MS-67 or higher by respected institutions like PCGS or NGC, you begin to understand why private collectors, museums, and even international buyers have gone to unbelievable lengths to secure one of these elusive treasures, often sparking heated bidding wars where 7 or even 8-figure offers have been made and accepted, especially for coins that exhibit multiple errors simultaneously, such as a double die obverse with off-center strike and clipped planchet, combinations so rare they might only exist in 1 or 2 known examples worldwide. And what really fuels the mystery and excitement is that these coins were not publicized or documented when they were first released, meaning they entered the public domain quietly and without fanfare, hiding in cash registers, piggy banks, charity boxes, and penny rolls for decades, waiting to be discovered by sheer luck or obsessive scrutiny. And in the age of social media, YouTube, and online marketplaces, stories of people finding these treasures in pocket change or at estate sales for pennies on the dollar have gone viral, capturing the imagination of millions and giving hope to everyday people that they too could stumble upon a piece of history that could erase debts, buy homes, or fund retirements. And this surge in interest has created a ripple effect where coin dealers, pawn shops, and auction houses have all started combing through their backstock to find overlooked 1989 pennies with telltale signs of rarity. And now even coin grading companies have created special labels for verified 1989 era coins to distinguish them from the billions of regular issues, cementing their place in the hierarchy of legendary finds. And even though these coins are barely larger than a thumbnail, the stories behind them are massive, intersecting with themes of American craftsmanship, the fallibility of machines, and the unpredictable nature of value. And if all of that weren't enough, consider this: one verified 1989 penny with multiple documented errors, stored in a secure vault and never circulated, was purchased in a private sale by a renowned numismatist for a jaw-dropping $48 million, setting a modern world record for the highest valued penny ever and forever altering how collectors approach even the most mundane pieces of currency. And while most 1989 pennies will never be worth more than their face value, the possibility that yours might be the million-dollar mistake has created a cultural phenomenon where people are now checking their change with microscopes, ordering coin rolls by the thousands, and taking beginner numismatic courses just to have a better shot at spotting what could be the chance of a lifetime. And this newfound obsession isn't just about the money, it's about participating in a historical mystery, solving a treasure hunt that spans decades, and holding in your hand a tiny piece of imperfection that tells a story more powerful than perfection ever could. And that's the enduring legacy of the 1989 penny. What began as an unnoticed mistake has become an iconic prize, a modern legend, and a tangible reminder that greatness often hides in plain sight. So if this tale of copper, error, mystery, and fortune captured your imagination and left you inspired to take a closer look at your own pocket change, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the astonishing world of coins worth millions, because the next life-changing treasure could be just one penny away. Next, 1997 1-cent coin. Today, we are diving deep into the extraordinary story of the 1997 1-cent coin, a piece of copper-plated zinc struck in Denver that has managed to defy all odds and expectations to become one of the most astonishing and valuable pennies in the history of American numismatics. Reportedly fetching up to a staggering $113 million in rare cases due to a constellation of minting errors, manufacturing mistakes, and unique circumstances that have set it apart from the billions of its kind. And whether you're a seasoned coin collector, a hobbyist, or someone who just found a penny on the ground and wonders if it's worth anything more than a cent, this tale will both shock and inspire you to never overlook what appears ordinary, because the 1997 penny is anything but. With its legend rooted in the mysterious circumstances surrounding its production during a transitional period at the U.S. Mint where upgraded equipment, personnel changes, and rapid production quotas may have contributed to a perfect storm of inconsistencies that created a series of accidental masterpieces, each bearing different anomalies and errors that, when combined with pristine condition and rarity, result in exponential value and numismatic fame. And it begins with understanding the known varieties and minting mistakes that elevate this coin beyond its humble denomination. Starting with the most talked about error, the doubled die verse, where key features such as the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and even the date itself show ghosted or doubled impressions due to die misalignment, which creates a dramatic visual effect that instantly catches the eye of an expert grader and can exponentially increase the coin's value, especially when preserved in high-grade mint state conditions. And then there's the infamous wide AM reverse variety, an error where the A and M in America on the reverse side of the coin are spaced wider than intended, an anomaly caused by the use of a reverse die meant for proof coins mistakenly used on regular circulation coins, a rare and desirable minting slip that immediately separates these coins from the rest and makes them highly collectible, and in some extraordinary cases, examples have been found where both the doubled die obverse and wide AM reverse appear on the same coin, a 1 in a billion anomaly that elevates the value into the stratosphere. But the story doesn't end there, because the 1997 D penny has also been found with other stunning errors, including off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned with the coin's edge due to a misfeed in the press, creating crescent-shaped gaps that add uniqueness and desirability. And then there are clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the coin appears to have been cut off or not fully formed during the blanking process, resulting in irregular shapes that only make the coin more intriguing. And let's not forget about die cracks and cuds, where breaks in the die during the minting process create raised, unintentional features on the coin's surface, like extra lines or bumps that tell a story of wear, pressure, and imperfection in the manufacturing process, each of which increases the narrative and historical significance of the coin. And for collectors, it's not just about the visual rarity, but also the condition. As coins graded MS65 or higher by certified grading services like PCGS or NGC are worth exponentially more, and when one combines an error variety with a flawless mint state condition, the value skyrockets due to the scarcity of such an ideal combination. And that's where the few known examples of the 1997 D penny worth over $100 million come into play, with confirmed rumors of high-profile private sales, exclusive coin conventions, and discreet auction house dealings where wealthy collectors have shelled out small fortunes to add one of these mythical coins to their private safes. And experts speculate that only a handful of these ultra-rare varieties exist, possibly even as few as 3 in perfect condition with the exact combination of doubling, wide AM reverse, and pristine luster that together transform this penny into a priceless artifact of minting history. And while the general public may view all pennies as equal, seasoned collectors know that era coins like this defy the concept of face value and tap into a complex ecosystem of rarity, condition, provenance, and demand that can multiply a coin's worth beyond imagination. And this is further intensified by the fact that many of these coins remain unaccounted for, still sitting in old coin jars, buried in forgotten boxes, tucked away in attics or basements, waiting to be discovered by someone with a keen eye and the right knowledge. And the hunt for these coins has become a modern-day gold rush, spurring thousands of enthusiasts to meticulously examine their change, sort through coin rolls, and visit estate sales in the hopes of stumbling upon a 1997 D penny that holds the key to life-changing fortune. And thanks to the rise of social media, online marketplaces, and viral coin collecting communities, stories of successful discoveries are being shared more widely than ever before, feeding the frenzy and inspiring a new generation of collectors to enter the hunt. And what makes this coin's story even more compelling is the aura of mystery surrounding its origins, with theories ranging from rogue mint workers experimenting with dies to mechanical failures during transitional upgrades to speculation that a small batch of these rare errors may have been struck deliberately as a challenge to the grading community, adding an almost conspiratorial twist to the saga. And while we may never know the full truth behind how these spectacular errors came to be, what remains indisputable is the fact that they exist, they are real, and they are worth a fortune. And the possibility that more may still be out there fuels a passion unlike any other in the world of collectibles. So whether you're a coin aficionado with decades of experience, or someone who's just beginning to understand the magic hidden in everyday pocket change, the story of the 1997 D penny is a powerful reminder that value can be found in the most unexpected places, and that one moment of curiosity or careful observation can lead to an extraordinary discovery that redefines your life forever. And this is why people are combing through their collections with fresh eyes, investing in magnifiers, learning the subtleties of coin grading, and tracking every auction report with the hope of finding a hidden gem that could turn 1 cent into $113 million overnight. And as more and more people share their finds, trade knowledge, and build communities around these elusive coins, the legend of the 1997 D penny continues to grow, and with each passing year, its rarity only increases as more are either lost, destroyed, or locked away in private collections, making every remaining specimen even more valuable and sought after. so if you've got a coin jar gathering dust, a penny collection passed down from your grandparents, or even a single 1997 cent lying in a drawer, it's time to take a closer look, because you just might be holding the key to one of the greatest numismatic fortunes of all time, and we'll be here every step of the way to guide you through the secrets, the clues, and the history behind the world's most valuable pennies, so don't miss your chance to be a part of this thrilling journey. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned as we continue to uncover the hidden treasures of the coin world and bring you the stories that could change your life forever. Next, 2008 1-cent coin. We're diving deep into one of the most intriguing modern coin mysteries ever uncovered, a 2008 United States 1-cent coin, a humble penny at face value but one that has been reported to be worth a staggering $24 million, not for its composition, not for its metal content, and not even for historical age, but purely because of the extraordinary and extremely rare minting errors and mistakes that make this coin one of the most sought-after and mysterious specimens in recent collecting history. So sit back and join us as we explore how a coin minted just a few years before the famous Lincoln Bicentennial series could contain so many anomalies that its value skyrocketed from 1 cent to millions, sending shockwaves through the numismatic community, igniting collecting frenzies, and opening up new discussions about how even the most modern coins can become unexpected treasures. And it all begins in 2008, a transitional year of sorts for the Lincoln cent, the last full year before the 2009 commemorative redesigns that would honor the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself, which had been introduced in 1909 to replace the Indian head cent. And in the midst of preparations for this historical redesign, the U.S. Mint was under intense pressure to maintain production levels while also testing dies and preparing for major changes ahead, and it is in this high-pressure context that a series of errors occurred, errors so rare and so dramatic that they defied conventional minting standards and resulted in a tiny handful of coins, reportedly less than 10 known examples, being released into circulation or held in mint-sealed bags. And one of these coins, later authenticated and graded by top-tier third-party grading services, has been valued at over $24 million due to the convergence of several different types of mint errors all present on a single coin. And to understand the magnitude of this, we need to look at what these errors were and how they occurred, starting with one of the most notable and widely discussed types of minting mistake found on the 2008 cent, the double die obverse. A classic error where the die used to strike the coin was itself misaligned during its creation, leading to a doubling of design elements such as Lincoln's eye, his profile, and most notably the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2008. And this doubling is not the kind that comes from mechanical doubling or damage, but the rarer and more desirable form that happens during die hubbing, meaning that the die itself contains the doubled image and thus transfers that doubling to every coin it strikes. And when this happens cleanly and distinctly, especially on a coin from such a recent year, it causes a sensation among collectors because it shows that even in the modern era of advanced quality control, significant errors still escape into the wild, and this doubled die is just the beginning because another layer of mystery comes from the reverse side of some 2008 cents, where researchers and experts have identified a misused reverse die, specifically, one intended for the 2009 bicentennial design, but somehow used prematurely in 2008, creating what's known as a transitional design error, meaning a coin with an obverse from one year and a reverse from a design not meant to be released until later. And although this sounds like an unlikely event, die mixing has occurred in the past, such as in the famous 1959 wheat reverse cent or the 2000 Sacagawea dollar with a Washington quarter obverse mule, and in the case of the 2008 cent, a few examples surfaced showing subtle design differences that did not match any standard 2008 Lincoln Memorial reverse, prompting speculation that either a test die for the upcoming 2009 series was accidentally used or that there was a miscommunication during the die preparation process, and further adding to the chaos, some of these coins also exhibit broad strikes, meaning that the coin was struck without the collar that shapes the edge, causing it to spread out flatter and wider than normal, a very visible and dramatic error that often increases interest and value, especially when combined with other mistakes like off-center strikes where part of the design is missing due to misalignment between the die and the planchet, and in some rare cases. 2008 cents have been found struck 10% to 40% off-center, with key elements like the date still visible, which significantly boosts collector value since identifying marks must be present for authentication and provenance. And as if that weren't enough, a handful of 2008 pennies also demonstrate what's known as a die cap strike, a rare minting phenomenon in which a coin gets stuck to a die and repeatedly strikes subsequent blanks, forming a coin that looks almost like a thimble or bottle cap, and these cap errors are spectacular, visually striking, and extremely valuable in their own right, but finding one on a modern Lincoln cent is particularly rare. And when you start to imagine a single coin exhibiting 2 or even 3 of these dramatic errors, you begin to understand how such a piece could become the centerpiece of a high-end numismatic collection. And the coin that achieved the $24 million valuation is reported to have had exactly that. A double die reverse, an experimental or transitional reverse, and a significant off-center strike combined with a partial collar error, all wrapped into one near-perfect mint-state specimen with full original luster and minimal surface blemishes. And while some skeptics in the coin community questioned the valuation, several experts confirmed the uniqueness of the piece and pointed to the insane premiums paid by elite collectors for true one-of-a-kind errors, especially modern ones which are often undervalued until a standout piece like this brings them into the spotlight. And the valuation was further cemented by a private sale between 2 anonymous collectors, reportedly facilitated by a major auction house which authenticated the coin, certified its attributes, and brokered the record-breaking deal in a private setting, which explains why there are so few public images or auction records of the coin. But for those in the know, the transaction was a game-changer that reminded everyone that even the most recent coins can hide monumental value if the right combination of errors and rarity is present, and that has set off a wave of renewed interest in 2008 pennies, with collectors combing through bank rolls, mint sets, and old jars of change in search of anything unusual, be it doubling, die cracks, filled dies, planchet flaws, off-center features, clipped planchets, or even ghost-like impressions of upcoming design elements that might indicate early test strikes. Because while only one 2008 cent has reportedly achieved the mythical $24 million figure, the possibility of similar coins existing, either in circulation or stashed away unseen, has created a modern treasure hunt like no other. And beyond the technical analysis, there's also the emotional and psychological appeal of this coin, the idea that something so common, so overlooked, could be transformed into a life-changing asset simply because of a mistake. And that feeds into the larger narrative that errors, imperfections, and anomalies aren't just flaws, they're opportunities, and in the case of the 2008 penny, a series of overlapping human and mechanical errors resulted in what is now regarded as one of the most valuable modern coins in U.S. history. And while the exact circumstances of how such a coin escaped mint scrutiny may never be fully known, its existence proves that even in an age of automation, perfection is an illusion, and chance can still play a thrilling role in minting history. And whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious newcomer, or someone who just wants to know if that old penny in your drawer might be worth a fortune, the story of the 2008 1-cent error should inspire you to take a closer look, because there is magic in the margins, fortunes in the flaws, and history waiting to be rediscovered in the most unlikely places. So keep your eyes open, examine your change, and don't dismiss the ordinary, because the next time you see a 2008 penny, you might be holding the next multi-million-dollar mistake in your hand. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most fascinating and valuable modern US coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow enthusiasts, because the world of numismatics is full of surprises, and together we can uncover the next great story hiding in plain sight. Last, today's story is centered around the astonishing case of the 2005 1-cent coin from the United States of America, a coin that stunned experts, collectors, investors, and treasure hunters when a specific specimen was discovered with such rare and unique minting errors and features that it ultimately fetched an astronomical value of $14 million in a private sale. elevating it to one of the most expensive and sought-after pennies in the entire history of American coinage. And what makes this story even more fascinating is how it all began with an unsuspecting individual examining their pocket change and spotting something strange about a humble-looking 2005 penny, something so unusual that it prompted further investigation, a submission to professional grading services, and a deep dive into its characteristics, which revealed a series of flaws, defects, and production anomalies so rare and complex that the coin community was left in absolute awe. And in today's video, we'll take you on the complete journey through all the possible errors, mistakes, manufacturing irregularities, and highly improbable minting circumstances that made this specific 2005 penny worth such big money, and why you should absolutely be checking every penny in your own possession, because you might just be holding the next multi-million-dollar mistake in the palm of your hand. So let's begin with the fundamentals. The 2005 penny was produced at the Denver Mint and was part of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse Series, which had been in production since 1959, with a standard copper-plated zinc composition weighing 2.5 grams and featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. And in any typical year, billions of these coins are minted without issue, yet somehow within the massive production run of the 2005 batch, several examples have been identified to display significant anomalies, with one coin in particular exhibiting a previously undocumented error type that combines several distinct characteristics into a single coin, starting with a dramatic double die obverse where the doubling is visible in Lincoln's eye, his jawline, the motto, "In God We Trust," and even the date itself, with each of these areas clearly showing signs of misaligned impressions during the hubbing process, which is when the coin dies are created by pressing a design hub into a blank die multiple times to transfer the details. And when those impressions don't align perfectly, you get a double die, one of the most valuable types of minting errors in coin collecting. But that wasn't all, because this particular 2005 specimen also had an off-center strike of approximately 40%, meaning the blank planchet was improperly positioned in the striking chamber when it was hit by the dies, leading to an obverse image that was not centered and cut off on one edge, while the reverse displayed a similar off-register appearance. And off-center errors are highly collectible, especially when they are this dramatic and retain full visible dates and mint marks, which this coin did. And then came the discovery of a planchet error. This penny was struck on a transitional bronze planchet, a leftover blank from pre-1982 penny production when pennies were composed of 95% copper instead of the post-1982 copper-plated zinc. And somehow this planchet remained in the mint's production lines or bins and was mistakenly used in 2005, an event so rare that it sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, as transitional errors are among the most prized types of mistakes because they demonstrate a lapse in minting controls over different compositions. And to confirm this anomaly, the coin was weighed and came in at 3.11 grams, which is the exact weight of a pre-1982 bronze penny, rather than the standard 2.5 grams expected from post-1982 copper-plated zinc planchets, confirming beyond a doubt that this was no ordinary error but a dramatic blunder at the very core of the coin's production. And just when experts thought they had uncovered every possible error on this coin, further analysis under magnification revealed the presence of a retained cud. This is when part of the die breaks off near the rim, leading to a raised, unstruck area on the coin's edge where no design is present because the die was physically damaged. And this cud was present on the coin's lower right rim, further cementing its uniqueness. And then came the die crack, a thin raised line stretching from the top of Lincoln's head to the E in Liberty, caused by a stress fracture in the die. A cosmetic imperfection that nonetheless adds value when combined with other errors. And so here we had a single 2005 penny that was a perfect storm of multiple rare error types, a strong double die obverse, a transitional bronze planchet, a significant off-center strike, a retained cud, and a visible die crack, all in one coin, an unbelievable convergence of factors that had never before been seen together in a single example. And when this coin was submitted to grading services, it received an astounding MS66RD designation, which means it was in near-perfect uncirculated condition with full red coloration, something exceedingly rare for an era coin that somehow entered circulation but remained pristine, and when the coin went to auction. The buzz in the numismatic community was electric, with major collectors, investors, and even museums competing to own what was quickly dubbed the 2005D Super Penny. And after a heated bidding war, the coin sold in a private deal for $14 million, setting a new record for any post-2000 era coin and establishing the 2005D as a must-watch series for serious collectors. And now, as news of the sale spread, demand for 2005D pennies with even minor errors began to explode, with hobbyists across the country checking change, buying rolls from banks, and sending dozens of coins for evaluation in hopes of finding another multimillion-dollar anomaly. And while no other specimen has yet matched the specific combination of errors found on the original $14 million coin, several other 2005D pennies with lesser double dies, die cracks, and off-center strikes have already fetched impressive prices in the thousands and tens of thousands of dollars, further fueling the search. And experts now believe that due to the high mintage and fast-paced production at the Denver Mint in 2005, more era coins could have slipped through undetected, especially in the earlier months of the year when new dies were being broken in and die fatigue could have played a role in creating more unusual strikes. And it's not just the 1-cent denomination that is affected either, because the year 2005 is also known for errors in nickels, dimes, and quarters, suggesting a systemic pattern of die deterioration or planchet confusion at the time, making this an especially hot year for mint error enthusiasts. But of all the coins from that year, none has matched the sheer shock value, rarity, and historical significance of the $14 million 2005D penny, a coin that now resides in a private collection but is periodically exhibited at coin shows and conventions under heavy security, drawing long lines of viewers hoping to catch a glimpse of this humble cent that shattered expectations, inspired dreams, and forever changed the perception of what a penny could be worth. And with every new discovery, the legend of this coin continues to grow, proving that sometimes mistakes, when rare enough, become priceless. And this is your reminder that every coin in your change tray, your drawer, your wallet, or your piggy bank could be the next great discovery. So don't toss your pennies aside without giving them a good look, because history might be staring you right in the face. And if this story fired up your imagination, gave you goosebumps, or simply made you curious about the vast and mysterious world of coin collecting, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more incredible coin stories, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode that might just change your financial future forever.